Welcome to the Aligned Powerhouse, the podcast for executive women who are done leading from burnout and ready to rise from alignment. I'm your host, Dr. Brittany McGeehan, licensed psychologist, high performance and mindset coach, and guide for high-achieving women who are ready to lead, live, and love without abandoning themselves. Here, we unpack the nervous system truths, mindset shifts, and emotional patterns that drive your leadership so you can build power from the inside out. Let's get into it.
That's true. All right. Hello. Welcome back, y'all. Guys, I'm so excited. I feel like I say that every time, but then I feel myself light up. I am so excited for today's conversation. I'm going to introduce our guests here in just a minute, but if you are someone, and I feel like this is every listener, if you are someone who, one, wants to understand money better, but more specifically the emotional hangups that come with it and the market, just all of the things. We are talking emotional steadiness. We are talking finances. We are talking how to find someone to help support you on this journey. These are the things that we are talking about today. It's going to be such a high ROI conversation. And I just really thoroughly enjoy our guests anyway. We were literally sitting here talking and I was like, focus, Brittany. So it is going to be so good. Heather and Mollie, welcome to the show. I am so excited that y'all are here today.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
Yes. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about let me tell you how we met first, okay? Because I've joked about this a little bit, but I am such a creeper on LinkedIn and things like that. And in terms of social media presence, I feel like I have a really strong C sort of approach. We're passing, but C's get degrees. And but in person, that's where I thrive. And so I literally saw, I don't even know when it was that I saw something y'all posted, and I was I like what y'all are saying, the content of it, but it was also the vibes. I was y'all are fun. Y'all are really fun. And so I literally slid into your DMs. I don't know how we say that on LinkedIn, but I was hey, I like y'all. Do you want to grab a coffee?
Hey,
and here we are.
The marketing's working. That's the vibe we want to get off. We want to be friends. We want to have fun while doing life.
Yeah. I mean, it's 100% working. It pulled me in immediately. I was oh, y'all are fun. So a little bit about Heather and Mollie. So they are the founders of Gem Wealth. I'm obsessed with this name. They built their firm after noticing a gap most people overlook. So that women don't just need financial strategy, they also need the education so that they can make confident decisions, have emotional steadiness when money is feeling overwhelming, and a perspective that actually reflects their lives. I think this is one of my favorite things in the education and the information that y'all provide, is that I see myself reflected in so much of that, but then it just comes with this really badass education and understanding of what's going on. Because money is not just numbers. It holds pressure, identity, real responsibility. Heather and Mollie work with women across every stage, from professionals to entrepreneurs to mothers, helping them build and manage wealth in a way that feels clear and grounded. Their approach is interactive, educational, and deeply supportive, especially when life or the market doesn't go according to plan. I love it. I love everything that y'all stand for and that y'all are doing within your community. But Heather and Mollie, I want to turn it over to y'all. Did we miss anything here? Because I also know y'all have incredible educations.
Yeah, I think it's a good little story just to tell how we met, because it's a God moment for sure, but how Gem Wealth came about. But I am from Southern Illinois and started my career in St. Louis. And Mollie's born and raised here in Dallas. And so we both started in the career right out of college. Mollie's a few years older than me, so she got a little head start. And in 2018, met in Chicago at a women's diversity conference, just with our nature of finances and just being a woman in the career. And we just became friends from that, stayed in touch. And after COVID, we just happened to hop on the phone and was like, what are you up to? What are you up to? And talked about like some struggles and just like, well, I'm not sure what's next. And like within 48 hours, I made the decision to move to Dallas to see if we could build something together and start working together. And then Gem Wealth was born a few months after I got there, and Mollie had her first baby, Blair.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is, I think I knew the series of events. I don't know if I had put the timeline together. That was like when it's right, it's right. Let's do it.
It's so right. Like when I reflect back on that, like before even kind of getting into how we even got in the industries, but like it was like I was like, what am I doing? Like I love what I do, but like I need to reinvent myself. And my husband and I were planning to have a child, but like it was like, oh, I'm pregnant too. Like again, it was planned, but it was like, okay, now what? I don't know. And then like it was truly God, like, because I didn't know what was next. And it was just like, I will figure it out when I get there. And then Heather called, and then that worked out. And she moved to Dallas a month before I had Blair, and then really hit the ground running after that. And it's been a really fun, like 3+ years. So.
Oh my gosh. Which is so interesting to hear you say 3+ years. I'm like interacting with y'all and watching y'all in rooms, things like that. Like, you hold space of someone who's been doing this for like 30 or 40 years, with just like the education and like the steadiness that you bring to, at least it's my experience of you. Right. That is incredible, hearing how everything has worked out and brought you not only together, but like you had so many babies, Mollie. I'm like, oh my gosh, you had like the business baby. It's always what I say.
Right,
like,
right.
Business is a baby, and then also you had a real baby. Oh my gosh, that is incredible.
It really is. I would say too is just like how we came up with Gem Wealth. So Gem is actually an acronym for guiding, empowering, and managing wealth. And we put our heads together off of experiences that we've had in life, in the workplace, that other people were sharing with us, just like women in finance. We all want a seat at the table. And that is really what we're focused on, is anybody that we meet with, making sure that they feel heard and seen and have a seat at the table whenever it comes to just empowering them to be able to make their own financial decisions.
Which I think is huge, right? At least my experience in wealth management and education is typically that's flipped. And expectation, again, just based on my like limited exposure to the industry, is that the power is really held on the other side of the table, versus y'all's approach is so empowering, which I think for women is just incredibly important as we're moving through these stages. I love it. So speaking of that, talk to me about, what should someone who is new to financial advising, wealth management, like in this world, what should they be looking for in a financial advisor, and why? Because I think that's one of the biggest questions that I get from not only audience, but also just within my community, is we don't know how to find them and how to know if they are a good fit.
Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind is that in the culture that we live today, everyone is like, oh, well, what rate of return did you get? What was the performance like? They're focused on the outcome, not on how you actually get there. And I think that raises a lot of concern, because you've got to take so many outliers into like how risky is your portfolio and all of these other things that you don't care to ask. You just want to know, what rate of return did I get? If it's not what you expected, then you're not happy. However, things can all be working in many different ways towards your goals. And so we see that as being a mess up, when in reality, you should really be looking at who you're working with, in who do you trust? who do you meet with and you feel that sense of trust? They do what they say they're going to do. They follow up with you. They make sure, you don't have any questions or you feel comfortable going to them with questions. And you understand their process. So good advisors are going to have a very clarifying process from start to finish. And then lastly is that education piece. It's like, why do you want to work with somebody that's sitting across from the table telling you what to do? Or do you want them to be asking you, like, what is your goal? What do you see your future as? And then here's some different ways we can get there. Here's the pros and cons to these ways. What do you feel most comfortable with?
Yeah, I would add to that, like, there's like kind of what we see in our industry is like a common approach is just like getting this account because someone told me to, whether that's an advisor or the internet. Okay, so I have all these things. I have this Roth IRA. I have this life insurance policy. I have my 401k or whatever. Versus like, we want to go like, what's important to you, Brittany? Like, tell us what your goals are. That way we can come up with a strategy to get there to go, okay, this is actually what makes sense versus like, yeah, everyone's just doing this. So like, just jump on that bandwagon. We want to have a purpose on why we're doing things. So I think that's really important for someone that is looking for an advisor is like, that we're looking at the overall big picture on what is important to us to then get to how are we going to get there.
I love that. As I'm listening to you, I'm imagining the way it sort of translates into my work, right? Is I will hear people say, I want to be turning multiple 7 figures in 6 months. And I'm like, okay, so currently we're sitting at just over 6 figures, right? So reverse engineering that, this is what that is probably going to require of you, and really walking through a step-by-step of like, is that actually what you want? I don't know. That's what comes to mind for me as I'm listening to you, right? Is like the power of really getting clear, which I imagine is something not a lot of people have, is clarity on their financial goals in and of itself. But the fact that you're saying, what is it that you want? And then how do we get there? I think that is incredible. I can imagine that's so useful for your clients.
We ask that question to all of our clients, prospects, and you can tell some people have never thought about that. So then they'll just give a very basic, easy answer like, well, I'd like to retire at retirement age. And it's like, have you thought about doing that sooner and pushing you to do that bigger goal? Because I mean, shoot, if we're talking now and you're in your 20s or your 30s or you have some big business, it's like, well, could you think a little bit bigger than just like, putting yourself in this box of like just being in the norm?
Which I imagine even that is huge, right? Having someone who is educated in this industry, who understands how money works, and then to look at you and to say, let's dream a little bit bigger, especially given just sort of what at least on my end, because this is not my world, what I'm consuming in social media and the content and whatever it is, right? Which is for better and for worse, right? Like they get paid when they pull people in. I can imagine that's just incredibly empowering. That's awesome. I love it. Okay, so now talk to me about, what do you think keeps women in particular from seeking financial support, like advising, however, and you like correct me if I'm wrong on like the words there, like earlier? Because I think it's something we put off.
Very common conversation we have with a lot of female clients is like, I just need to have it all figured out, or life has gotten so busy. I am trying to get my career off the ground. I had a baby. Think about that later. I'm in this. I mean, shoot, I can speak to it from experience of having a 3-year-old. That's like, you are kind of in some trenches there. Where it's like, gosh, like if I wasn't in this industry, I could totally understand being like, I'll think about that later. Well, when is later? Like, is later when your kids are out of the house? When you finally get that debt paid off or whatever it is? It's like, those I think are a lot of things that it's like, you push it off. But then when you get to that point, it's like, now we're maybe thinking about our parents. And so there's always going to be that reason of like something just not being figured out, or waiting to have so much money or making so much money before we have these conversations.
Yeah. I think the only thing I would add to that is people don't think they're ready if they don't have like a certain amount of money. They like put themselves in this box, like I need to have 100,000 before I'm able to talk to a financial advisor, when the whole point is, a good analogy to that is like, do you go seek a fitness trainer after you're already fit, or do you do it to get fit? And so it's like the same concept of you need to seek the assistance to get on track. The sooner you get on track, the sooner you're going to get your goals. And it's just the same way. Like we help with the debt management. We help getting the budget ready so that we can be more disciplined. Those are typically like the hardest steps, is just getting started.
That's huge. That like felt my eyebrows like shoot up into my hairline. Like when you said it's like the equivalent of like, do you go see a trainer like after you're fit? I'm like, oh my God. This is so good. I feel like a little I'm like, oh my God, I'm totally this person. I was like, let's have a conversation Q3 because I had all these reasons versus this is the process. This is the way that we get there. Just having a shame-free conversation about next steps, goals, all of that. Oh my gosh. I think that's huge. And I think it's spot. And I can imagine women in particular are more susceptible to that, right? We live with so much pressure of being fill in the blank, whatever it is.
Could even be just like the lack or the intimidation of like, I don't know it all yet because I don't understand the markets or this or that. And it's like, we always tell people, like, you do not have to understand every single thing. That is why you have us. Do I wait to go to the gym to, once I understand how every movement works? No. Like, I go and the trainer is informing me on, like, this machine and this is how you work out this muscle or whatnot, right? Same thing.
I'm obsessed with this analogy. I'm like,
let's get it.
It's gonna push me. This could push me into like scheduling a call much earlier. I love it. Oh my gosh. I think that's fantastic. So talk to me about, when do you see emotion quietly driving financial decisions the most? So I'm thinking, especially with my audience, like these women are capable, they are smart, they are financially literate, and yet we still see this showing up. Talk to me about like your thoughts there.
The first thing that comes to mind is just like outside noise of what the market is currently doing. If you're following economics or the news or whatever, your mind just goes straight to like, I mean, even with buying a house, you're like, oh no, it's not the right time to buy a house. However, any financial decision, whether it's just a straight up savings account or it's your overall portfolio, the sooner you start, the better off you are in the long term. And our favorite statistic is that in the history of the stock market, if you were to invest and the market corrects, so your account value goes down, 100% of the time in the market, of the whole history of the market, it has come back not only to where you were, but to all-time new highs. What that tells us is that long-term investing, I won't use the word guaranteed because it is not a good word to use in our industry, but long-term investing in the course of the history 100% of the time has shot you into positive numbers, even whenever the market goes down. So I think people just get in their heads of the volatility and the outside noise that, oh, it's not the right time. It's not the right time. No, the right time was yesterday. Do not even pay attention to what the market is doing. The right time was yesterday. It doesn't matter who's in office. The right time was yesterday. You just got to get in. And it's really the time horizon that matters the most.
Yeah, I always like tell people, I'm like, how do news outlets or, could be like a news article or it could be like the, local news. How do they get you to tune in? How do they get paid? They get paid by views, clicks, and all of that. So like putting like almost a rage bait news article that's like your 401k is the worst investment ever or tanking because of XYZ. It's like, well, I'm going to click on that. Now I'm going to be freaked out versus like actually what's happening. Oh, wait, you're 30 and your retirement date is still 30 plus years away. Like we do not have to freak out about this, but yeah. And that's where working obviously with the advisor comes into play is like, okay, we can set you straight on like, okay, like this is how it actually affects you versus talking about a general population. I think another like way that's like emotion that kind of silently drives decisions is being females. Like we always put ourselves last. We always think about our children, our spouses, our parents, so we can get stuck in this like, you know, let's get them taken care of first, and then I'll worry about myself. But it's like, shoot, if we do that, sometimes it's like we are not addressing that for a long time, or our mental like battery is so low that it's like, I just don't have the energy to think about that anymore.
Yeah. My gosh. Molly, as you're saying, I'm like, oh my God.
This is me.
A little bit of I'm like, oh my God, like cone of shame, guys. But like to your point, I was literally having a conversation. I'm just gonna like relate to everything you're saying. I was having a conversation with Nick, and I was like, we really need to think about like where we're putting investments for the kids. And he was like, hang on, like maybe like the first investment is making sure that like we're set and going in and like double checking this so that we're not part of what they're about to inherit. Like, how about we start there? I was like, okay.
Yeah. And it's like, There's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with wanting to set up your children. But, you know, let's think about also like, if we do that, then like what maybe is the like cause and effect of certain actions. And you may be okay with that. And that's okay. Our goals shouldn't be your goals.
Well, and I can imagine that's also where like, yeah, like coming to, I loved that. Like, yes, that was fantastic. I like part of what I think about is that's also where like just the strength of working with someone who has your goals, your perspective, your life like in mind and is leading from there versus being told this is expectation, this is what you should be doing, is why, because I can imagine every situation is different in terms of, are these children inheriting whatever they cared for in other ways? Is that a part of the equation, whatever it is? But what an insidious driver potentially, like this idea, right, of one, all of the rage bait that is out on media, and to your point earlier, like is 100% like that's how they make money. Like absolutely, I respect it, I just can't stand it. And then this driver that is so present for so many women. Ironically, I think the higher you climb in corporate or you build the business, a lot of times it's done through grit and through pushing. And so you actually drop like farther and farther down the list. I'm like so many light bulb moments. I'm like, yep. I didn't know I was coming to church today, but like, here we are.
Oh yeah. It's interesting when we've met with people in high powered positions, you're like, they make good money, but like sometimes they don't have it all figured out versus the like person that works in that same industry, maybe lower on the totem pole, but they like have it more or less figured out, you know, doing what they need to do or on track or however you want to put it. So.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, that's really good too. 100%. There's so many like ideas and stories that we put into our head of, once I make this amount, once I do this, like magically something just comes online, and that usually that's not the case. There's just more zeros to manage.
Right.
So talk to me about y'all's thoughts on, you know, in moments where life or the market is volatile, it's up and it's down. What behavioral and thought patterns do you consistently see? And what is something that can help someone slow down to make better decisions?
Knowing not every decision has to be made immediately, especially in the emotional roller coaster times, whether that is market volatility or, oh my gosh, I just retired and now I am not getting this income that I once had. And it's, you know, now it seems like it's significantly reduced, and it's that just big change of things. Or I don't know, divorce, or, I mean, there's so many different like emotional things. People think they need to have it figured out all right away. And it's like, hold on, we can take a second, but hopefully that's why we're working together before that time also happens. But we've definitely talked to a lot of people with emotional.
On that point, Molly, this just came to my head, but like when you're thinking about personal life and then you're thinking about your finances, the finances, there's like a graph. If you're looking at like your rate of return on a portfolio, and if you just see it go down and then back up or something like that in that valley, my motto is like, don't make decisions when you're in a valley. Like just pause and like get some clarity and some logic. And like when your portfolio or your investment is in that valley, where we see people mess up is they panic and they want to make a decision to take their money out and like, let's just get it in cash. I lost what I lost. Like, I don't want to lose anymore. However, when you work with a professional that knows what they're doing, half of the time we say like the money management is the easy part of our job. It's helping people manage their emotions during those valleys or during the volatility, that we're like financial therapists in a way, because we're like, stop, this is going to come back. Here's the statistic that we love to share. It's going to come back and it's going to just keep going up. We are in this for, a longer time frame, and we do not want to take the opportunity for when that comes back up, you to miss out. So it's like, don't make the decisions in a valley, is a good one on the bar graph and just in life.
That's what I was sitting here thinking. I was like, oh my gosh, like if we could all just like pause in the valley, right? The phrase that comes to mind for me as I'm listening to y'all and my little like nerdy like side, right? Like little nervous system end is like, y'all are literally the like financial like regulators. You're like helping people to like co-regulate their nervous systems is like how I would think of it. But that you have the education, the expertise, and the warmth to come into someone, kind of like you do with kids, right? When they're like freaking out and they're like, wow, like my life is over because I found a lizard in the backyard or whatever. And you're like, hey, deep breath, we're going to make it. Or like maybe don't put it in your pants like my son did. It was pretty horrible. But, right, like I think that is such a valuable asset that I'm like, who wouldn't want that? Like when it comes to your money, I'm like,
right.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes when we freak out in life, like we always have that person to call, right?
Yes.
Like you call your sibling, your parents, you're like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. Like that's what we want to be for our clients. Like, hey, like if you ever have questions, like call us. Like we are here to help regulate. Hey, remember this was the goal or whatnot. And, obviously if we need to make changes, we will, but that's what we want to be for the clients that we serve.
I just think that's huge. And to your point, Mollie, like finding the relationship sooner rather than like later, right? So then there is trust there that has already been built versus I'm freaking out in the moment and I don't know you. And I just, I'm like, oh yeah, you're building a real strong case for like, find someone yesterday. Which I really think that, and this is purely just like my experience of y'all and what I understand of what y'all do, right? That you do have a specialization in transitions, in like high, I don't know if volatility would be the word, but I'm just thinking about, during these major life transitions, y'all work with folks who are getting divorced, right? So thinking about like divorce, grief, motherhood, or sudden financial growth, right? Like we've added a few zeros into the bank. What is it that you wish you want women to understand before making those long-term decisions?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of goes into the last question a little bit with like a lot of the time, like a divorce or grieving because someone passed away, or like you are in turmoil and you don't have to make a decision immediately. Just still, again, taking that pause and consulting with, in a money industry, consulting with your financial advisor or CFP. I don't think we've said it yet, but we became CFPs because of the fiduciary responsibility that we hold with our clients. And what that means is that legally, we have to do what's in the best interest of our clients. And it really, which I mean, through ethics and everything anyway, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I didn't think I was doing what's in the best interest. But when you get with them and they talk through things that maybe you didn't think about and like give you that reassurance that, hey, things are still okay over here. Like take some time to think about these things. That accountability partner is everything, because like usually decisions don't have to be made immediately. And you can kind of work through them with your emotions.
Yeah. No, that's huge. Fiduciary responsibility. Is that, did I get it? Okay. Yeah. I think that's huge. And I imagine that in and of itself, right, speaks to so much of the anxiety that can show up for people is, how do I trust you? Well, if you have like an entire ethics board and like a legal responsibility to do so, I mean, that's huge. That's absolutely huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then being able to like practice that pause. Absolutely. I'm curious, are there any specific concepts you would add, especially to around ideas like divorce?
I always think you just got to consult somebody, like a CFP, but like know that if somebody's like pushing you into making decisions, like let's make this quick, those are red flags.
Okay.
Like, hey, let's take time, and giving options and like explaining the why.
Encouraging like, questions.
Yeah. Hey, Brittany, this is why you need to do this. Like, okay, versus like, you should be doing this, duh.
Yeah. No, that's huge. And I would imagine that's going to like fuel and foster the pause, right? Which, what an empowering concept. And again, this is like, my ADHD is present with us today. It literally reminds me of like my midwife telling me that like you can tell the doctor to pause during like labor, during whatever. And I was like, I didn't know you were allowed to do that. But like I literally dismissed the doctors when Naya was being born. I was like, you can leave my room now. And they kind of looked at me. I was like, I need time to think about what you said, that I don't agree with it. And like, if no one's in distress, then like, I need you to leave the room. And they were like, oh, and they did. Right. It was great. And once they left, like out she came. But like, like the space and just even the knowledge to understand I have the right to exercise all of my brain and to really think this through and ask questions is so empowering. And I mean, I know this isn't in here, but just like what a corrective experience and relationship to have to your money, especially for women who tend to not necessarily be in the driving seat. I think that's incredible. Okay. So now I'm curious, you've given us like so much. I'm like, if y'all have not been taking notes, you need to just like rewind and like start it again, because there were so many nuggets and so many things in here that I'm just like, this is very high value content. And I am so appreciative of y'all being here. And I'm curious if you could give our audience, listeners, homework specifically to work on the relationship with money, and in allowing support in managing it. What would that look like?
The first thing that we've actually started adding to our meetings when we're meeting new clients or implementing new financial plans is getting a better understanding of what their experience has been with money and like growing up. Like, were you involved in the conversations? And whenever a big financial decision comes, who else do you consult? Do you make, if you're a married couple, do you make decisions together? Do you have an accountant? Or do you rely on like your parents in the past? Like, we want to know emotionally how you've handled money in the past. And it really gives us an idea of how the best way to approach a relationship with that client is. So that's a good way to start, is like thinking about your own relationship with money and, does it make you nervous and all of those things. That's a great first way to like start a conversation with a financial advisor. But I think if we're getting into the money side of things, a lot of stuff ends up coming down to budget. And if you're ready to work with a financial advisor, it comes down to discipline. It does not come down to how much money you have in the bank. However, if we need to build your emergency fund up a little bit so that we can start investing, that piece starts with discipline as well. So we're looking at the budget, we're looking at your debt management, and seeing if there's any gaps to get that net income, disposable net income a little bit higher, to be able to put in places that's going to work for those goals.
Yeah. I would also add, like, beyond that, which is like funny. I feel like you would appreciate what Heather said at first, so, like the relationship with money. It's so psychology driven.
You know, I did. I lit up.
I know. I'm like, oh, you can't even respond to that yet. But like, is the, like Heather said, is like, what's that, like, where is our money going? Because I think, as you said, like, you know, you can build your business so quickly, like the zeros in the bank start lining up, or, you know, on the income or whatever, the inflows. But then lifestyle creep happens. And then it's like, well, now I can spend money on all these things. But then it's like, okay, if we don't go back to like kind of some basics, we always like to, homework items, like when it comes to budgeting. We actually have a whole podcast on this business 50, 30, 20 is like about 50% should go to your needs. If we are over that, like, okay, that is a big, like, where we need to start is where can we cut from that net income. And then 30% should be to fun. Heather and I like to flip flop the 20 and the 30, but to fun. So the things that aren't necessary, but like we choose to do. So that could be going to the movies, or I don't know, I'm going to go to the aquarium with my children or something. Like, you don't have to do those things, but we want to budget them in. And then 20 should be that saving after you get paid, like putting that somewhere to work for you. Heather and I are both obviously in this industry, so we like to flip that for 30 being save and 20 being fun. But sometimes when you break down these numbers with clients and potential clients, it's like, wow, that's you can have a lot of fun with that number. And then it's like they realize, oh, wow, it's over there. Or they think that fun is a necessity when it's like, no, that's elective. So it's like, it's eye-opening to all of us, I think, when we go do that exercise.
Yeah, I can imagine that, I mean, I think when I think about money, I feel like I am in my healthiest, like, relationship to it if it doesn't feel emotional, which I feel like inherently it's going to evoke some kind of emotion. But if I can feel logical about the numbers there or the numbers not there, so it's not really like it's just like a yes or a no, whether or not it's there. I love the systems part of me just like ate that up. It's like, okay, 50, 30, 20. I love that. I can do that. I think that is so, and I love the building the fun in, because again, and I keep going back to like social media, ask me where I get my current education. But there's such a, either you see, to your point, lifestyle creep, everything being very glamorized, or you see we're going to live on a farm in the middle of nowhere, and there's no issue with that if that's what you enjoy and what you want, but we're going to, like, I don't know, like, we're not going to spend anything, and that's how we're going to do things. So it's very extreme, which again, that's what pulls in viewers. That's what pulls me in. Right. But the idea of building that fun in, I think about the sustainability that probably comes with that too, of let's adjust and like increase discipline the way that we need to. But if we are building in some way to like let off steam, I imagine that sustainability, like being able to keep to that, is just so much easier if you're, building that in.
Right. Like, there's always a balance, like live for today, but plan for tomorrow, because like, obviously today is, I mean, we're here, so we need to enjoy life, but like the odds are like, we're all going to make it to that tomorrow, with just mortality rates. And so it's like, well, if we just only live for today and we get to tomorrow, we're going to be very sad tomorrow. Or if we only save for tomorrow and don't live today, that was a sad, like, road to be on. So it's that balance.
Mm-hmm. The other piece of that, Molly, is the protect, because you're living for today, planning for tomorrow, and the what ifs are inevitable, and so you protect against the what ifs.
Yeah.
And so that is a solid financial household when you're doing all three.
I love that. Oh my gosh. It was so eye-opening. For my husband and I, we had a big like financial moment where we like invited people into the room to actually come and help us look at numbers. Let's plan. Let's like talk about these things. And it was like the wildest thing ever when they were like, oh no, y'all only go to the movies like once a month. We're not touching that money. And we both were like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like, that one gets to stay. They were like, you have 2 children under the age of 3. Like, yes, that one is important. But like Netflix, and it's not a big cut, but like you never watch that. So like, why are we paying for that? That's a very easy, like, poof, we just found whatever, like $30. But still, it was the wildest thing I had ever experienced to have someone who understood money be like, no, we don't touch that one. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It made it way more fun to sit and look at everything else.
Right.
I love that. And the adding in the protection for it, because yeah, Molly, to your point, I'm like, we're all living to be what, 130 now at this point, which I hope will not be true for me. To be honest, I have no interest in that long of a life. But yeah, the necessity of planning and in a structured way, which also makes me think about Heather, your comment of like, if you have the discipline component, that's when you know. I loved, how did you phrase that? If you have the discipline, then you're ready to work with a financial advisor versus like if you have a certain amount in the bank account.
Right.
That's huge. That's huge. I'm like, I hope everyone is like taking notes. Like, I'm going to be listening and taking notes. And then, yeah, you know that I ate up the whole, like, look at how you related to money and how those conversations look like. I was like, yes.
Right.
It shapes everything. And again, I think we don't think about.
Right. If this did pique anybody's interest, we do have a podcast that's mainly around money. And you will peep Brittany on season 2 in there that we'll be doing, but Gems Uncut. And we started with our first season. It's actually about to conclude in the next couple weeks, but it is setting the foundation of your financial household. So we felt that that was very fitting for the education around just getting started and feeling empowered to start asking those questions to somebody that wants to get to know you and your goals more. So the self-education can be beneficial for just some cues. However, nobody's picture is the exact same. Everybody has their own stories to tell. And so when you just take the stuff on social media and self and you don't actually consult, there is a very high likelihood there's going to be a vulnerability somewhere in your picture because it's not your details, your story that these people are giving advice on. Yeah, excited to share that too.
Yes. And we will have links in the show notes, all of the things. I think y'all referred to one specific episode as well. I would love, I'll go back and I'll listen and make sure that we link like that episode because yeah, y'all's podcast, I love it. We eat it up at our house. It is it's like showing up to like a masterclass on a very specific financial skill, but it's like giving, like yapping, like in a coffee shop. It's like the best. I love it. It's very y'all.
We try to make the not so fun conversations a little bit more fun, as fun as you can be.
Right. Yes. Very much on brand. I love it. It's so much fun. No, I love it. Yes. And in terms of how, like, if someone is listening and they're like, I want to connect, is podcast best way to do that? What does connecting with y'all look like?
Through our website would be the best. We've got lots of places on there that says contact us, and it goes straight to our admin to set up a meeting, introductory meeting, just to get to know each other. We always want to vet people to see if we're a good fit first. And sometimes we even find that we have an awesome thing that we call our toolkit, and we have been networking with so many different professionals across the board that if it's not the best fit for us to work together, we can typically point you in the right direction with another trusted professional.
Also, LinkedIn is a really good spot as well. Our website, obviously, but LinkedIn is... We're obviously on there as you found us.
I was about to say, y'all, everyone should go like hang out and connect because, and I really do, I like really vet guests who come on. Like it has to make sense, not only for the conversation, it has to make sense for like, I really think about audience before I bring people in. So really it is only like people who are very trusted who are coming in and having these conversations. So I like personally endorse, I'm like, yes, go follow, but also like y'all are hilarious. Like it's just such a fun, which for LinkedIn is like chef's kiss. The way that y'all do it is I'm like, everyone should just go hang out there, even just for the vibes.
Thank you.
Good
Shout
time.
out Christy.
Yeah.
Shout out Christy.
LinkedIn is turning into Facebook like circa 2007, you know?
I think that's what you said when I was like, hi, Molly, I think I like you. Do you want to grab a coffee? Like,
It's how we were using it back in the day.
I love it. Oh my gosh. I love it so much. Well, y'all, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your like wisdom, your education, and just for the work that y'all do. Yeah, I think that it is so important, and I am so grateful for y'all's time.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yes. Alrighty, y'all. That is all we have for today's episode, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.
Alrighty, friend, that is all for today's episode of the Aligned Powerhouse podcast. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And do me a favor, if this episode resonated, I want you to share it with another powerhouse woman in your life who is ready to lead and love from a place of self-trust. And don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave a quick rating or review. It really does help more women find this work. New episodes drop every week. Until then, lead with self-trust and let yourself be seen.